So, hello guys. Today we are under our podcast named Parmi les Élites. So I'm sorry guys, today I'm sorry for my English first of all, because no, it's not the best, but I know there is many English speaking guys in the Legion, and this series, this is for you guys. So let me present you one of my best friends who represent United Kingdom. I know Harry since I think more than 15, maybe more, even 20 years over there. Like I was still in Legion. I already started to manage first mission with you.
It's been a little while.
It's been a while. So so today I have a chance. He came in France in Val Thorens to do the ski, and it was big opportunity for us to catch him and to ask about the advice, because I'm sure some of you will be asking, should I come back in my country, should I come back in London or in United Kingdom and to create and found my own company, security company, transport company, or the big family management company, some kind of family office. So please see with this guy. For me, he is the master. He has a lot of experience, and I think he is the part, for me, is one of the trustful people that I have in United Kingdom. So hello Harry, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, inviting me.
So please, it's your call.
Yeah, so where do you want me to start? You want me to start at the start?
Yeah, like name, short name, your age, because you seems too young, but I know this guy has so big experience. So where you from, what is your family, who you are, and why you are like you are. I know that you have very big experience because of your family too. So, and your company and what you're doing with your clients. So, and after I'm gonna put more questions, more details. The questions gonna be interested for my guys and my comrade.
Sure. So I'm Harry. I'm 33. I probably don't look 33.
Yeah,
having worked in this industry for so long, it makes you look older. The stress gets to you, and it makes you look older.
No. Yeah, you're still young.
Yeah, I went to boarding school, then to university. I'm from a military family, so my father was in the military. He was always travelling, so part of the reason I went to boarding school was in the UK you get quite a big financial benefit. So you get a discount on the school fees, because when your father's travelling, you then go to the boarding school, because he's sometimes away and he doesn't come home for long periods of time. So I went to boarding school, and then I went to university, where I was playing rugby, and that was sort of a big passion of mine. And then when I left university, I originally was going to move into finance. I have a business degree, and then it just so happened my father was working for a security company. One of the girls' fathers, I think, her father was ill. She had to go away. So my father said, look, could you come in while you're looking for other jobs and sort of run the operations desk? It was sort of, they had security teams around the globe, and all I was doing was maybe like placing them here. Someone would ask for it, and then I would supply it. So it was sort of my first into the security industry. I never really, I'm not from ex-military. Everyone always says, are you ex-military, ex-police? So I'm not. And then, so it sort of went from there. And then the lady sort of never really came back. And I sort of got used to working the desk. I got used to working with the people. The company said, well, you're obviously quite liking it. Do you want to stay? And then it sort of just spiraled out of control from there, really. I was there for, I think I was there for 5 years.
Can you mention the company name?
Probably not. I still
no.
no. It's like a London-based company.
Okay.
So which there are obviously lots of them. Yeah. So I was there for 5 years, and that's where I sort of I got my CP license. It was sort of a natural progression from running the operations teams, and then I wanted to have a bit of experience. I was playing rugby at the time for a team called Isha, like lots of sevens. So, you know, rugby sort of, you know, it's physical. It's sort of, you have to be aware of what you're doing. You know, it's like, it's controlled aggression, but like, you know, when we're working, it's not, you know, you're never looking for, but if something does go wrong, ultimately you would be the first line of defense for the client. So, so yeah, and then I got my SIA badge, which is my SIA close protection badge.
Which year it was?
Oh man, 20. So I started in 2013. So I think I got my badge in probably 2014.
So
maybe.
it's like 10 years ago.
Yeah, and then so I was there for 5 years, and then I enjoyed working for a company. I think the like entrepreneur inside of me was grateful for the experience. However, I always always wanted more. You know, people were saying, oh, you know, you have to do that. Whereas, you know, I almost rebelled. I could see it was.
This is your Capricorn part of you
I wanted more, and you know, I think I wanted too much from them. I wanted more money, more stuff, and so that's. I
see myself in you, so it's okay. It's
so that's sort of not everyone has that. I suppose, you know, some people are quite happy to run jobs, and you know, that's great. That's for some people, whereas, you know, I sort of wanted to take see where I could take it, I suppose. And then I started Capricorn International in 2017. And now what are we now?
7 years.
Yeah. I always think it's like 2 or 3 years, but it's 7 years now. So so we're still here, like post COVID. You know, COVID was like more difficult. You know, because obviously as a lot of the guys will know, like it's a lot of traveling, it's a lot of international stuff. You know, we deal with, you know, clients from the Middle East, big clients from the US, and they're basically just all traveling to Europe. I'd say we specialize in Europe. So like working with you, sort of like Paris, Madrid, Milan, south of France. Yeah. You know,
you gave me a lot of missions all around the world.
Where all those people want to go, Germany, all those places. You know, those tours we did. So all those clients are coming in from their countries into our area of expertise, really. So that's sort of where we sit. So COVID was COVID, and then now we're sort of rebuilding back from COVID. You know, all these clients are coming back. You know,
which is good.
Yeah, I find now I just have to. I feel like I'm running a startup again a little bit. You know, I've got to go and meet the people. You know, say, oh, hey, how have you been?
Now you became more manager. You was more a soldier, as agent. Now you became more a manager.
Yeah, and you can't sometimes go straight from being a soldier to a manager, because if you want to do the job properly, you have to understand what the job is. You understand? So if you're coming from a soldier, you can't then go and work at the top, because you don't know what everyone is doing out on the street. You know, you've got to understand. You know,
step by step. You've got to know everything. You've
got to know the vehicles. You know, the E class, the S class, the V class, the Barabbas, the AMG. You know, the S400, the S500, the Maybach.
The capacities.
Exactly. So, because certain people will ask for certain things, and then you can, in your mind, you can sort of. Someone says, I want an executive sedan. You know, like, what is that? You know, that. You know. That could be an S-Class, that could be a Maybach, that could be, you know, it could be a 7 Series, it could be an A8. You know, there's, you know, some people are like, oh, they're black cars, you know. To me, they're not, you know, there are lots of different black cars, you know, so, it's, once you've learnt that sort of, that was my first 5 years at the company. I learnt all of that stuff, and then you sort of take that expertise and then try and hone it, you know, maybe tweak it a bit, and then put your special magic on it, I suppose, and then try and see where you go.
Bravo.
See where you go.
So
And then,
for the company, okay. Your father, okay. For like your father was a military, and did he help you to get your first client? Did he support you? Because most important is your philosophy of the management in your team. It was influenced by the military or your own ideas.
so he sort of, well, he worked for the company that I sort of left. So that was a bit not controversial, but you know, I wanted to go and set up a company sort of on my own. Not necessarily with him either, because I never wanted to be. I never wanted to be just my dad's son. You know, I wanted, you know, because he already had a fantastic 30-year military career, and then if I went and then opened a company with him, they would be like, oh, you run a company because of your dad.
Okay.
You know, I wanted to run it for myself, to prove I could do it to myself. But yeah, he definitely helped me sort of initially. Yeah, like I needed some finance, because when you run a company, you need, and he lent it to me because all I'd have to do is go to the bank. So he lent me that, but then I could just pay that back, because when the contracts start coming in, you know, you can pay the money back quite quickly. And
Another help that could come from your dad is the guys, the agents.
Yep.
So most of the agents comes from the military, or how you hiring you guys?
Yeah, so a mixture really. So sort of some of his previous friends that maybe are looking to work. So yeah, if they're coming out, he'll say, oh, you know, I've got a good guy that's thinking of getting out. Sort of, what contracts have you got rolling at the minute? You know, and then I can say like, what's his history? Like, what does he do? You know, some of them are like technical specialists. You know, they specialize in more, like we spoke about, the corporate espionage, the sort of, you know, planting of devices, listening devices, putting them in, taking them out. Others are sort of, you know, maybe they were tankies, or they drove you know, maybe others were officers. So it's difficult to put all soldiers in one basket. True. Because they'll have lots of different special skill sets. Yep. You know, you might get someone who's really good at tech, leave, go and get a CP badge, and he's terrible because he's very good at technology, maybe not so good with people. So what we'd kind of do then is he would say, I have a tech specialist coming out. I'd be like, oh, we have a job coming up that, you know, maybe he could go and do that. Or we have an officer leaving, yeah, and you maybe try and help them. You just guide them a little bit, you know. Or maybe he was in tech and doesn't want to do tech anymore. He's done tech all his life in the military, doesn't want to do it anymore. He wants to come out and try something new. You know, that's okay.
At the same time, the guys, like how it was your procedure. So you have the guy, you have one profile who want to join your company. Do you ask your friends to see if this guy was good when he was a soldier, if he was a good element, how it was from your side?
Yeah, you can get all of that, because obviously the military guys in the British Army, they all have their reports. Yeah, and it's a fairly small, you know, I could probably just put it on a WhatsApp group, and I could find out, you know, what feedback is.
This is, for me, it's very important. This is where I'm coming.
You know, if you say if Bob or Frederick, what's he like? You know, I'd be like, oh, let me find out. And they'd say, oh, yeah. They'd say, yeah, he was great. Or actually, you know,
he's not.
He's very lazy, you know, or some people would say, you know, if he's managed well, he can work well. So then you're like, well, maybe he just needs a little bit of help. Yeah. You know, because leaving the military is not so simple. True. You know, they might leave, because in the military or the Legionnaires, you know, you're managed a lot. You know, you get a lot of help. Whereas when you leave, like you are on your own.
You're on your own.
Yeah.
True.
So if you don't go to work, you don't earn any money. It's that simple.
What about your mission? So I know you when mostly you was working under the industrial spine. So tell me about this. What it was? Did you like it? So what it was main objective in this moment? And do you still continue to do this stuff of the missions, or you passed more working with the big families?
The TSCM work, or the
TSCM, or like when it was like the industry, what we was starting, we knew each other.
Yes, yeah. So that was sort of more something called TSCM, which is technical surveillance countermeasures. So it's like it's called bug sweeping, or yeah, in layman's term, but TSCM, so you're sort of planting devices, or you're gathering information for maybe like a legal case or something.
This is
like
a small
that.
niche. Let's tell the truth. Like this, not many companies who provide this kind of service.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, it's kind of a bit of a grey area because it's not illegal, but the law is kind of like when you're it's like surveillance work. You know, we do surveillance work. You know, you can track vehicles and things like that. It's information gathering for, you know, to help a law case or something like that. We do less of that now. Yeah, I just don't see as much of it coming through the door. It used to be more popular, and now I've sort of morphed into private family, big sort of corporate PAs and director level, just because there's more work and it's more personable. You know, I can go and meet PAs and I can meet directors and I can speak to them personally.
Yeah,
there
is no pyramid. You never see the top manager.
No, so with the surveillance work, you're kind of gathering the information. You just sort of do the job. Whereas I get put in front of people, I tell them what I do, I tell them our experience, and then they like it, and then we work together. Yeah. So that's where I find, I guess some people would call it selling, but I don't find it's difficult to sell what we do, because I would say we're one of the best companies. We try and operate with you know, that top sort of 1%. So that's where I like to sort of work.
Okay, so today you're most like in percentage your biggest market. So this is the CP management or staff management or the transport. What is your like?
Yeah, it would be close protection and transport.
Close protection transport.
Yeah. So some of the big clients have their own security teams. Well, you had the guys that came to you in France. They had their own security team. They come with their boss, but then they need someone with local security knowledge.
Coordinator, yeah.
Because they come from America.
Yep.
They're coming from America. They're going to come to Paris for 1 week. Then they're going to go to Courchevel for 1 week. And then they're going to go to like somewhere else for 1 week. So they want someone in Paris with good knowledge.
You take some local guy who became a coordinator. Like.
Yes. So he'll then come to us. I say, right, Arta's the guy to go to in Paris. The security and the guys come in. You prepare all the vehicles for them, you know, and then they say, right, Arta, these are the places we're going to go. Let's do the recce's. This is the plan, you know, and then you'll say, well, we need more time here because the traffic is bad at this time of the day.
Yeah, we did Paris. Many times before. This is true.
We can't go down the Champs-Élysées on Sunday because it's now pedestrianised. All of these things that, you know, the Americans don't know. You know, they drive on the other side of the road, and you know, all of that sort of. Well, you do in France anyway. But,
I see. So since this moment, you because in the beginning, I remember you was much more working in UK. Market. Now you're very international. You're very global service providing company. Yeah. So you feel necessity to have the big network of the human, of the partners. Yeah. How you try to figure out, how you try to find the people, how you try to create your network.
I guess you would just work with sort of a smaller network of you, sort of like yourself, you know, like you cover a lot of Europe for me. You're like the best guy I come to in Europe, and then you can provide me with those other spaces, you know, and then maybe my father would know someone out in the Middle East that he's worked with, and I will speak to them. And then, you know, if the American company come in with their security team, I would then say, you know, who do you guys use in America? Or, you know, I would get suggestions of them. It's sort of, everything comes through a validated network. And it's difficult to explain now because I've been doing it for like 10, 12 years.
It's become natural.
Yeah, and sometimes now, they're like, how did you meet Arta? I'm like, well, I don't know. Like it was that long ago. It seems to sort of organically just grow, you know.
True.
I never met you and thought we would work in all those countries that we did.
Yeah.
You know, I just thought you worked in Paris. I never thought I'd get jobs in all of those countries.
Yeah.
You know, I never
demands in Italy, in Germany, in all those countries.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, this is why I'm talking about this, because one of our biggest mission in the club, and you're the co-founder. So yeah, and once again, let me present you one of co-founder of the our international network and the future private club. So my idea now is just to explain why we're still working under this idea, international security network, because we have the, and you have, and me, I have very, very high level personalities, and we should be very, very careful with the hiring of the people, with using the people, because I can guarantee myself, I cannot guarantee the guy next to me, because last 3 mission he was right, and maybe next mission he will be totally wrong. It will be your mission, and I don't want to break our relationships building since a while, you know. Yeah. So this is what we try to pass this message, like try to surround it by the good guys. Don't lose your time to spend with the people who you feel this guy, when you go out, he'll never call you back, and he'll never comes in case if you need some help. So this is very important. So this is just like small message to you. Okay, let's talk about like the last clients. Today, do you feel that the new markets, I was talking to you about this market, like the personal assistant and the stuff, like house management market, do you feel this market is good? This is a good idea to work with the families, but not just provide them the business outfit, but inside of the house? Did you think about this?
I haven't thought about it as much. I don't know as much about it, but I know it obviously plays a large role, because a lot of house managers hire security, and I was working with the house during COVID, and you have to work closely with the house manager, because you have the drivers, and ultimately the house manager pays the bills.
So you feel that the house manager is the future, definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely something, because the house manager the house manager is not a specific role. He's hiring cooks, he's hiring chefs, he's hiring cleaners.
He has a CB card.
Yeah, he's speaking to the boss. He's speaking to the highest person in the house, who is the owner and the boss. And he's also speaking to the cleaners, and they're the people that are, they're greasing the wheels during the day. Yep. If the housekeepers aren't coming in and doing their job, the boss will just be making a phone call. So he has to make sure that everything is running smoothly. It's spinning lots of plates, as you would say. Spinning lots of plates, juggling lots of balls. So it's maybe something that an ex-officer would do, because it's probably what they're doing in the military, or if someone's running a team in the military, then they're probably doing exactly that already.
Yeah, it's like a team leader
managing lots of people.
You just give him a few tables, you just give a few orders, and the procedure, the protocol, that maybe he didn't know about this, but it's easy to get it in a few months, and he's able to start his first mission as a manager.
Yeah, or maybe that's something that they would implement. They would go into a house as a house manager and say, right, maybe you don't have the protocols, let's make them.
Yep. Yep. This is exactly what's happened. This is my last missions.
Yeah, so you add the value. So they hire you. They say, why would you be a good house manager? You say, well, I used to run a team of 50 people. But it hasn't been something that we've explored. But obviously, we work with them. We work with house managers. Sort of if we're running a team and they're a security team, we have to work with the house manager. He keeps the maintenance of the cars and things like that, if the family own the cars or something like that.
Because last mission, and I cannot mention, but one of the last mission, since I know you did different kind of the service, and the last missions I recognizing on you the personal assistant, more personal assistant than the CP guy. Yeah, this is exactly. So tell me about this. This part of your service, this part of your profile.
Yeah, that was something that just accidentally happened. When you're just sort of, I think when you're running, if you're doing real close protection, you're with someone, you're next to them, you shouldn't be with them 20 hours a day, but some people don't have the budget for 2 people, so they want you there all the time. So it was just sort of a natural morph. You know, if you can't, when someone wants to, if someone trusts you, they don't want to use lots and lots of people. So they just want one person, and then you just end up doing more because they trust you. So,
Yeah.
you know, it goes from being the security to then arranging the vehicles to then getting the food because you know what they eat, and then it's arranging the flights, and then the next thing you know, you're, you know, picking up the baby from school. Yeah, so that was just sort of a little role that, I think you have to be aware of that's something that
This can happen.
close protection can kind of fall into that role, because we're not in the Middle East, or we're not in Ukraine, you know, like we're not fighting with weapons, and we're not in a war zone, you know.
Yeah.
You're you know, you might be in the Maldives, you know, like there's no threat level, you know, so someone might want you to go and get a Coca-Cola, or, you know, make sure that order some room service for them, you know, because you're getting paid. The threat level isn't there, so you don't have to say, oh no, I'm not getting you a Coca-Cola because I'm here to protect you, you know, like, you know, sometimes you've got to step outside of your role and do something else. Maybe you've got to go and get a bag for them, or do some shopping or something like that. I think it's more of a hybrid CP role now sometimes, you know, unless you're running government contracts, you know, if you're working with the president or governors and things.
This moment, you have your mission.
That's different. But when you're working with private families, you know, let's say you work for the big boss and he's unwell and he's staying in bed all day. He said, could you go and look after my daughter for the day? She goes shopping, you know, so then you're like, oh, okay. You know, you've got to carry some bags maybe, you know, and as long as that fits the risk profile, as long as she's not in danger and it's not stopping you from doing your job properly, there's nothing wrong with you doing that, I don't think. So yeah, but yeah, that role definitely now is, you know, if people don't want to pay for 4 security, they'll just pay for 1. And sometimes they'll maybe try and get a bit more
last clients I remembered, it was the people who was able to pay more in the CP and in the PA, but we did mission carefully.
Yeah,
it was not about the money. I feel it like it was just about what you said, like these people doesn't need 3 guys.
Yeah,
she needs just 1.
Yeah,
and try to be polyvalent, so try to do everything.
Yeah,
and to be aware.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough, but you like it.
Yeah, it's good. I think it keeps you on your toes. Yeah, I like my brain to work. You know, I like going to jobs that are new. I like meeting new people. I like doing jobs that I find difficult because it makes my brain work and it challenges me. You know, some people you work for, they say, "Oh, can you go and do this?" And you think about it and you're like, oh, well, yeah, I suppose. And then, you know what I mean? It's like, I haven't done it before, but, you know, you're sort of, you're driven by solutions. You know, you don't want to turn around to a client really and say, no, I can't do that. You want to say, if you can't do it, you'll say, yeah, let me have a think about it and I'll see how I can maybe come up with a solution. You know, if someone rings me and says, do you do that? No, you know, put the phone down. You're more sort of, I don't do that, but maybe Arta knows someone that can do that. Or, hey, Arta, do you know someone that can do this? Yeah, great. Oh, well, speak to him. He can do this. Or, you know, that sort of...
There is always, you cannot mention that, I'm sorry not. There is always a solution.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the service. This is the service industry.
And again, you rely on your network for those solutions because you don't necessarily always have that answer yourself, but someone might.
Tell me, because I'm sure that you have your own analyze and your dad has his own analyze. What do you think about, like, you know, my vision? I cannot influence you, but you know that I'm still careful what next years will bring up. What about you? Do you think the industry of security gonna grow and that the requests we're gonna get much more tough, much more requests from the families in next years? What about the security? What do you think? In UK, in Europe, in the whole world?
Yeah, I think the security industry will grow. I think during COVID alone, like 2,500 billionaires were made during COVID alone. So I think at the top end where we work, I think they're getting wealthier. I I think that at the top end, I think they're spending more, and I think they want the help. You know, they don't want to wait for a table. They
Sure.
don't want to drive their own car. You know, they don't want to open the car door themselves. You know, they want to have security-driven cars by quality, you know, trustworthy guys that can sort of make their life easier. Because a lot of the time they're time short, so they want, you know, rather than saying, oh, hey, Arthur, can you go and get the car? What you have to do is use your initiative and watch them get up from the table. You can see them paying for the bill. Then you go and get the car, you put it outside before they even ask you to do that. So I think that sector will definitely grow in terms of like high net worth families. Yeah, I think it will grow within corporations as well, because they're sort of driven by share price. So they don't want anything to happen to those boards of directors, because everyone now, you know, a lot of people invest, there's lots of platforms, so share price is more important than ever. So therefore, looking after those top board of directors, you know, that's where they want security. You know, they don't want people losing paperwork or getting their bags stolen, you know, or their watches stolen, you know, which is happening in London a lot. So I think that sector will be another sector that grows as well. And that's sort of where we sort of try and fit in, you know, private family, you know, and sort of boards of, you know, director level, sort of technology firms, energy firms, you know, the big firms that everyone knows about, you know.
So all these people will like, okay, the demand will be much higher, but I still think the people will become, those people from high net worth, those people will become much more careful in hiring, because
100%.
because the people we like middle class will become much more poorer, and they're going to be much more careful about those guys, because you can steal, you can do the bad stuff, you can get the information. So last few minutes, I would like that you describe me your trustful guy. What for you is like those people, which profile they're going to looking for? What for you is trustful agent?
Yeah, so I think you're right there in terms of just because they have more money, I think that will naturally grow the industry. But like you said, I don't think that means they'll just come over and hire anybody.
No.
I think they will be more specific in who they want, and if they find someone, they will want to use them again and again, and you'll get you'll have the loyalty.
Yep.
The right person, I think, it's often dependent on the client, because sometimes, you know, I mean, Arabs are always a good example, because you have a breadth of Arab that comes to the Europe. You know, you might get an older sheikh that comes, but now, you know, you get a lot of young ones. So, you know, you might not necessarily want to put a young guy with a young guy. You might want someone a little bit older to put with a younger client that comes over, because, you know, he might need more of a father figure to sort of like a guiding light. So I choose my guys on sort of the client, really. But yeah, you need someone trustworthy. You need someone that's going to put the hours in, so they can work 20 hours a day if they're asked to. Not every day, but you know, you can't have someone sitting there saying, "Well,
I'm sorry, I'm tired.
Yeah, sorry,
Call somebody else.
I've done 12 hours now.
Yeah, I need to go home. My wife, she's calling me."
Yeah, no good. I'd be like, go home. You know, yeah, you have to be almost, the job comes first, and then I think that also works both ways. So if they're loyal to you and do a good job, I'll be loyal to them and use them again for more work. You know, if you're good at your job, then you'll be busy and you'll make money.
True.
You know, I think a lot of people that I work with that make money like yourself and have good businesses, they don't have it because they rip people off and charge people a lot. They have it because they work hard, they do good work, and clients come back to them again and again and again because you're good at what you do. Tell
me more about confidentiality. This is important.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's I think that's probably the top priority for a lot of people. I personally don't have any social media for the company. I have a website that you can go online, but I don't feel the need to have any Instagram accounts.
In security sector, there is no need to put publicity.
I don't put anything online, or I don't tell people where I'm going. It's more sort of, if you really wanted someone to find out, I mean, maybe they could. So we just try and keep everything to a minimum, really. You know, even the guys that work on jobs, you know, like no photos. You can't update your WhatsApp story or whatever it is.
If you send a WhatsApp,
this is important. You know, I would fire someone for that.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
If I saw someone doing that and they work for
people,
me,
what they're doing, like what I'm doing, like not about the mission, but I'm sending like 2-3 weeks later some information, but it's already the mission already done.
Yeah, you could do it in a couple of weeks for sure.
Yeah,
that's fine. Because it's just like But when you're on the job, you're working.
Yeah. So what is your last advice for our guys, our comrades who are gonna live next days, next months, like in 2 minutes, like the last words?
I think it would be sort of, don't be afraid to maybe go out and try something new. I think as humans, we're inherently lazy. We're like water. We will always take the easy, you know, if there were 2 doors in this room right now and we want to go to our bedroom, we would take the quickest route. You wouldn't necessarily take the hardest route. So I think sometimes try and be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like, that's okay, you know, it's just uncomfortable. So you're like, you know, like I was saying, when you're working, you're like, oh, I don't necessarily know how to do it. It's not that comfortable, but afterwards it feels good because you've come out the other side of it. So I think that would be sort of, you know, and you will just have good and bad days. So when you're having the good day, like at the end of the day, relish it and enjoy it. But when you're having the bad day, you can't just give up. You have to remember, you know, you wouldn't know what good is if you didn't have the bad. So to have the good, you've got to have the bad. So when you have a mission and it doesn't go so well, maybe think, what could I have done better? Or, you know, don't just say, this isn't for me. You know, you've really got to, you know, we've been in this 10 years now. Like, I've had my fair share of, you know, days where I'm like, what am I doing? You know, I could just get a normal job and, you know.
Just like, tell me, you have your fucked up. Was the mission is fucked up.
There are some, and that's not always your fault. You know, sometimes the client can put you in difficult positions and, I hope we haven't fucked up too many jobs. Otherwise we wouldn't be in business because our reputation would be damaged. But you definitely have your good and your bad days. So more good than bad.
True.
True.
Thanks God. Thank you so much. Thank you, Harry. Thank you for your message, for your experience and your advice. Hope to work again and again.
I'm sure.
With you and your good clients. I have very, very good experience, and I hope we will enjoy more and more.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yes,